What is going on, Snooker fans? It is the Crucible Eve. It is that time of year when we are all just counting down the days, the minutes, the hours, the seconds until this year's World Championship gets underway. The qualifiers are done. Now, if any of you watched my preview of the qualifiers a couple of weeks ago, you'll see that I've got 11 out of the 16 qualifiers correctly predicted this year, which is a massive result compared to last year where I only got 5. So, by this logic, next year I'm going to get all 16 right. And we've got a strong bunch of qualifiers. We've got a couple of debutants, as always. I remember last year there was a really strong set of qualifiers. In terms of names, I don't think it's quite as strong as maybe last year, but it's still a fantastic lineup. We've got 32 really strong players. There's going to be many qualifiers who are going to beat the Seas this year. Obviously, last year we almost got a qualifier win the World Championship. 3 of the 4 semi-finalists were qualifiers. What's going to happen this year around, we can't wait to know. But in terms of this video, I am, as always, going to go through all 16 first-round matches and try and predict the scoreline of every single match. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The defending champion bids to become the first player to break the Crucible curse this year, and he gets underway on Saturday against our first debutant in the draw in Scottish Open champion Lee Pai Fan. Now, the opening Saturday usually provides tense matchups when it's a first-time defending world champion playing. If we look at the past 5 first-time world champions, their opening rounds have been as follows. Luca Brissell lost 10-9 to Dave Gilbert last year. Judd Trump beat Tom Ford 10-8. Stuart Bingham lost 10-9 to Ali Carter, Mark Selby beat Kurt Mafflin 10-9, and Neil Robertson lost 10-8 to Judd Trump. Those are our previous 5 first-time world champions in their first match as defending champion. So the history books tell you that we should be in for plenty of late-night drama tomorrow again. But in all honesty, I think Kyron comes through this with a bit to spare. There is only one matchup between the pair, which happened 2 months ago, and Wilson won that one 5-1. So I think we might be getting an early finish, as I have Wilson down to win 10-4. Last year's beaten finalist comes to the Crucible for the first time ever as a seed, and as discussed in previous videos, he has a superb record at the Crucible. But his form this season has been very poor, and he only confirmed his top 16 seeding after Wu Yize lost at the Tour Championship a couple of weeks ago. Xiao Xing Tong repeated what he done at the UK Championship by winning 4 matches to qualify. In both qualifying campaigns, he has looked like a man who just does not belong there. And when he gets back on tour, you suspect it won't take him very long to reach the very top again. This is a tough match because over a best of 19, Jack Jones has plenty of time to get his claws stuck into Zhao and turn this into a match that he will not enjoy playing. If things become tactical, there will only be one winner, and that's Jack. But if Zhao can play the match on his terms, then really I can only see him winning. So this is perfectly poised. I'm seeing Zhao getting off to a flyer, maybe sort of going 4-1, 5-1 up before Jack slowly starts to get back into the game. But ultimately, I have Zhao to win 10-8. 12 months after not qualifying for the World Championship, the Aussie is back where he belongs as a seed, as he tries to get rid of the shackles that seem to hold him back when it comes to the Crucible. Wakeling would have been very disappointed to drop out of the top 16 so late in the season, but he's done very well to qualify, and he done so with 2 very comfortable victories. The good news here for Neil is that he leads the head-to-head 5-1 between the pair, but this does have the potential of going very close. Wakeling is still yet to win a match at the Crucible, but he has looked a completely different player over the past 2 seasons, so I expect him to give Neil a very good game here. But I can't predict my boy to lose first round, so I have Neil to come through as a 10-7 winner. And here we have a repeat of the 2023 first round match here as Mark Allen begins his bid for a maiden world title. The match 2 years ago finished 10-5 to Mark Allen, who then went on to make the semi-finals, but Mark has quite openly said he's not feeling as great in his game at the moment. And fans should also take great satisfaction from the fact that he beat 2 very good players in Robbie Williams and Michael Holt, and not only beat them very comfortably. The interest here will be how Mark is feeling in his game right now, but even if he is below his best, I can still see him doing enough to scrape through, so I've got Mark Allen to win 10-6. Well, there's no prizes for guessing which opening round tie would have made the headlines this morning. As of right now, O'Sullivan is still in the draw. Whether that is still the case when these 2 face off next Tuesday, who knows? But at the moment, he is set to play in his first tournament this calendar year. Since 1993, Ronnie has only lost in the first round on 4 occasions, the last being 6 years ago when he surprisingly lost to amateur James Cahill. But we could see it happening for a 5th time here. It goes without saying that Ali, who has beaten O'Sullivan here before, will get himself up for this match, really pump himself up for this. And if O'Sullivan isn't on it, he will certainly find himself in trouble here. The unknown with O'Sullivan is what makes this so hard to call, but I think, going to give him the edge here purely because he usually gets the better of Carter, especially on the big occasions. So I've got him to win 10-8. Zhang versus Pang has a lovely rhyming charm to it for this all-Chinese first round clash. Zhang may be the seed, but the form guide is very much in Pang's favour. 2 comfortable victories at the qualifiers has got him back to the Crucible for the 3rd year in a row. However, both of these men are still yet to win a single match at the Crucible between them, so who is going to break that record here? My gut when I saw the draw immediately screamed for me to go with the qualifier, and Pang has also won their one and only meeting, which came in February of this year, so there's even more reason to jump on the Pang train here, so I have him down to win 10-6. And this is a really tasty tie here. The 2023 semi-finalist Si Jiawei takes on 2019 and 2024 semi-finalist David Gilbert. Si has proven over the past couple of years that he is not afraid of anyone at this venue, but can he adapt to being the hunted rather than the hunter this year? And we always know that Gilbert has bags of experience that he can bring to the table. Both at times have looked very good this season, but Si in particular has gone missing over the past few months, and it'll be interesting to see if that plays a part in this match. This will also be the first ever matchup between these two, so we have no previous guide to go off here. I'm expecting a pretty exciting open match here between 2 players who will just go for their shots and can also score very heavily. But I think Gilbert's experience may just be the order of the day, so I have Dave to win 10-8. During the draw yesterday morning, Selby made it very clear that he did not want to draw his fellow Leicester man Ben Wollaston. So of course, what did the snooker gods decide to do? Ben qualifying was a surprise for me, I have to be honest, but it is very, very good to see him back after making his one and only previous appearance at the Crucible back in 2013. But in truth, this is about as bad of a draw as he could have possibly hoped for. We know what Selby is all about at this venue, but more importantly, we know how well Mark is playing at the moment too. Whichever qualifier faced Mark was in for an almighty struggle, I think, and I just cannot see anything other than Mark getting over the line with a few frames to spare, so I've got Mark Selby to win here 10-5. We have a repeat of the recent World Open final as Joe O'Connor seeks to avenge his 10-6 loss out in China to John Higgins. He is certainly playing well enough to do that as well, having beaten Jackson Page on Judgment Day, and Jackson was a player who made, for the first time ever in snooker history, 2 maximum breaks in a single match. But to win, he needs to start much better than he did on that final. Back then, he struggled at the start of the match, and by the time he had settled down, Higgins was already too far in front. But the recent Tour Championship winner is in fine form, having won 2 of the previous 4 titles on offer, and will be one of the firm favourites, in my opinion at least, for the world title this year. I'm looking forward to this one, I really am. Joe beat another 4-time world champion in Mark Selby last year, but in fairness, Mark was really struggling back then. This is a potential huge banana skin for John, but I'm still backing him to come through as a 10-8 winner. Matthew Selt qualified in somewhat controversial circumstances against Jimmy Robertson, highlighted by his rather guilty post-match interview on Judgment Day. But he will have to put that guilt to one side as he tries to win his first match at the Crucible. And he'll play this season's surprise package in Zhao Guodong. I won't repeat what I've already said multiple times about Zhao this season, but after a season littered with at least quarterfinals, can he put in one more big performance in Sheffield? Looking at the head-to-head is a tad redundant because they've not played each other in a ranking event for 10 years now, so recent form is the basis for this prediction. And even though his season has quietened down recently slightly, I think Zhao will still have enough to come through as a 10-6 winner. Now this match here really could be a corker. The UK and German Masters finalist comes to Sheffield in superb form, but this is a nasty opening round draw for him. Fafai is back for the 4th year running and will be looking for a positive end to what has been a fairly quiet season for him. He has a habit of drawing big names too, having already played Judd twice and Ding first round. and this is yet another big test. Both men have one win apiece in their previous meetings, and everything suggests this will be close. I've not backed it as decided yet, but this might just be the match to do it. But when it comes to the winner, I think Hawkins will be looking to continue his good run of form recently, so I put him down to win 10-9. The three-time world champion lost first round last year to a talented Chinese youngster, and there is a real chance that history could repeat itself here, as Mark Williams faces Wu Yize. Mark has claimed the champion of champions and was 2 balls away from the Saudi Arabia Masters title too, but concerns regarding his eyesight and really the overall state of his game do not bode well for him this year. Wu Yize could very well, of course, come here as a seed, but early losses in his final few tournaments of the season really put pain to that idea. Still though, he put out a side to qualify which included a dramatic deciding frame victory over another Welsh veteran in Matthew Stevens. This is another matchup between players who have never met before, so it all comes down to gut feeling, and my feeling here is telling me that Williams may get a sense of deja vu, so I have Wu Yize to win 10-7. Now, what kind of opening round are we going to see from Luca Brecel this year? Does he lose opening round again, like he normally does, or does he repeat what he has only done once, and that was the year that he won the title, by getting through his opening hurdle? And it's a really tough opening too against the ever-reliable qualifier Ryan Day. Day got an impressive first-round win against Barry Hawkins first round last year and is always a threat to any of the seeds he faces first round. Ryan also leads the head-to-head, but they've not played each other since 2018, so you kind of take that with a bit of a pinch of salt. Expecting Luca Brecel to turn up is risky of late, but I am going to go with the Belgian bullet here. And he kind of has a habit of playing in deciding frames first round of the Crucible. He's played 3 times in the decider first round already. So I have him down to go for another one, but this time he's going to be on the right end of that result. So I have him down to win 10-9. Is 2025 finally the year that Ding Junhui not only wins his first ever world title, but becomes the first Chinese world champion? Things weren't looking good until the last tournament in the Tour Championship, where he put together 2 really good performances and started to look more like the Ding we know. Now, on paper, this may look like a fairly generous opening round tie, but Zach Surety should not be underestimated here. In his previous tournament in China, he got all the way through to the semi-finals and then beat Jack Lazowski and Ricky Walden to get here. So definitely do not discount him. To make his debut, he is the second debutant in a draw so far. Gut feeling here is leading towards Ding, I have to say. I think Zach, it really depends with debutants how quickly they settle. And if Zach settles quickly, then he is more than capable of beating Ding, because we know Ding has a lot of mental scars when it comes to the World Championship. But I am still going to side for the Chinese number 1, so I have Ding to win 10-6. And here we have our final debutant of this year's championship, Daniel Wells, who I actually correctly predicted to get through and make his debut, of course beating Gary Wilson in a deciding frame to get here. And I think this was his 15th year in the qualifier, so to finally get through must be a massive relief for him. But it's a tough opening round draw against the 2005 world champion and the defending Masters champion Shaun Murphy. Go back a few weeks ago, I was really fancying Shaun Murphy's chances this year, but his recent results at the Players' Championship and the Tour Championship, which I've talked about at length, have kind of raised doubts. Still though, I'm expecting Shaun to, really put on the show. We know what a showman he is. He's not going to want to let his young debutant get any kind of encouragement on his first time at the Crucible. So this time around, I've got Shaun Murphy to come through as a 10-3 winner. And then last but certainly not least, we've got the world number 1 and potentially pre-tournament favourite Judd Trump. 3 titles this season. Can he finish his season on the biggest high of all and repeat what he done 6 years ago? And obviously win a second world title and get himself into that bracket of really very few players in the modern era to be multiple world champions. In his way is Zhao Yulong. Very happy to see Zhao Yulong qualify. We've not seen much of him at all this season, but he got through and he done really well. But he won't be happy to see Judd Trump be the player that he faces, because the head-to-head between them is played 5 and Judd Trump has won all 5. So not a fantastic outlook for Zhao Yulong. This would have been tough even if he had a great head-to-head, let's be fair. And yeah, I think Judd has really focused the second half of the season to make sure that he was properly prepared for this World Championship. He got to the quarterfinals last season, was disappointed to lose to Jack Jones. Can he go better? Can he become a 2-time world champion? I do certainly believe he will at some point. Will it be this year? Who knows? But I certainly think he's going to come through this opening round. So I've got Judd to win 10-5. There we have it. That's all 16 first round matches previewed and predicted. Let me know in the comments what you think. But most importantly, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, make sure for the next 17 days you enjoy it. Like I said last year, I think this tournament just flies by in a flash. You know, here we are 1 day away from it starting. It's going to feel like no time at all before I'm reviewing the tournament and reviewing the eventual winner of the World Championship. But yeah, enjoy every moment of it. I hope it's going to be a blast. Last year may have not been the highest quality, but there was plenty of drama. I'm really hoping we get drama and quality this year around. And I think we're in for a fantastic tournament. There's so many players in good form. You know, Judd Trump, Karen Wilson, Mark Selby, John Higgins, players like Neil Robertson. What are we going to expect from O'Sullivan? There's so many storylines that could unfold. And as always, I'll be here to guide you through the tournament, reviewing every single round, all the way through to the finish. So stick around on this channel, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you at the next video.